Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nitty Gritty to Balance podcast. I'm your host, Abigail, and joining us each episode is my mom, Stacy, a holistic health coach and intuitive. Each week, we discuss topics through the lens of her work and subspecialties to bring to light the balance in the everyday. So with that, let's bring in the brains behind the balance and get this episode started. NGB episode 2.
Retake.
Okay. I like the title. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's episode. We think it'll be enjoyable for you as we talk about our journey together and why we decided to bring this podcast to life. Before we begin, we want to thank you for your support, for listening to today's episode and the ones to come. We enjoy getting together each week to talk nitty-gritty on relevant topics, but also to share a different perspective, concept, or mindset for personal growth and, of course, balance in your life. So with that, let's kick off today's episode. Hello, Mom.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Doing well today.
Good.
And can you believe it? We came back for episode 2.
Episode 2. We're really doing this thing.
Yep. We came back.
Actually, how long has it been since recording episode 1? Almost a year.
A year? So, full disclosure
Yes.
is that this is a re-record.
Yes.
The audio did not come out when we first recorded episode 2, our journey together.
Yes. And it's an important episode, I feel like.
It is. And we'll get into that too.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah.
We have to re-record.
Yeah.
The video didn't turn out. The audio didn't turn out. Don't know what was going on that day.
No.
But I feel everything is meant to be. So here we are.
Yeah.
And I think this will be an even more fun episode because we have been on
Yes.
an actual podcasting journey.
Mm-hmm. And now we're getting to reflect a little bit.
We do. And we'll share what all of that was.
Yes. Why did we decide to start a podcast together?
Right. So there's definitely some history here.
Mm-hmm.
We had actually started trying to work together.
Mm-hmm.
I had my certification in health coaching, and for 2 or 3 years, 2 years, I guess, or maybe 2 years. Anyway, and so I had been kind of in that space, doing that, feeling that out, and taking classes on other things. It really, propelled me into other things, energy work. And so I just saw it kind of evolving.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time that it was kind of changing for me, things were changing for you.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Yes. So you were in the space of...
Just becoming a mother.
No, this was even before that.
It was even before that.
Yes. So we're talking like 2023.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, life's been such a blur for me.
Yeah. Do you need me to tell everybody your story?
Yeah. Tell everyone my side of the story, please. Well, and that's so funny because I was, pivoting my career at that point. And only to see right now that pivot is actually happening now, not not back then. But I was definitely in between, where I was going career-wise, and you were starting up something new, and obviously we work fairly well together, just
We've always been together.
You're my best friend. Yeah, one of my best friends. And so you had, presented the idea of helping you ultimately build out a website, build out your brand, and help kind of
start social media, get all of that going. Mm-hmm. You were in limbo.
I was.
So it was a perfect opportunity. Yeah. I needed something. This helped you out a bit. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of how it just was a little bud.
Yes.
And so that lasted
3 months.
Oh, I was going to say a month.
No, I don't think so.
It was longer than that? Okay, 1 to 3 months.
Yeah.
Very short-lived.
2 months. Yes, it was very short-lived.
Very short-lived.
Yes. But it was at that point that I was applying for jobs.
Yeah.
And got a job, and it was like this, all right, here we go, let's do this. Found out I was pregnant. It was this weird period in my life.
Yeah.
And it did, all of our projects
Fizzled.
Came to a screeching halt.
Yeah. And so I just took that opportunity just to continue learning modalities and just expanding on the space I was already in and just continuing my growth.
Yeah.
And didn't focus so much on getting, I had a website out there, but I just left it as it was. And then I just continued on my path without going on the social media and all of that.
Yeah.
And so then
fast forward,
things really started kind of speeding up for me on the rebranding. And it was time. And it was becoming more and more important to do this. It was starting to take shape as to what it was supposed to start looking like. And it's still kind of taking shape, but I had much more of a direction.
Yeah.
And it was fun and it was exciting. And again,
I am.
You were in limbo.
Yeah. Having just had my baby and still on maternity leave, but doing a little bit of, content, social media work. And so the idea, you presented it to me again, working with you again on a rebrand.
Again, website, social media, just going back to that same.
Just revisiting basically what we had started.
Yeah.
But then it kind of quickly morphed into starting a podcast together.
Well, so the way that came about was I was doing research on, ways to get myself out there. And then I learned about long content and short content. And short content just isn't as long lasting as long content. That stuff that stays out there and can draw people in year after year after year. And so that was much more attractive to me. If I'm going to spend the time, energy, all of that, then that's probably where I need to focus.
Yeah.
And so that's blogs, I think books, podcasting, that kind of stuff. Courses, evergreen kind of courses.
Yeah.
Like that. And so I was like, a podcast.
And I had always talked about wanting to start a podcast as well. And then we would just find ourselves just sitting on the couch and talking for 3-4 hours.
Yes.
And it felt like no time had passed.
No, and it was so easy. And it was deep conversations.
And we're just like bouncing ideas off of each other, getting curious, asking questions, like me picking your brain. And it just...
Yeah. And so then it just was like,
what are we doing?
Do you want to do a podcast with me?
Yeah. And I said, yeah. And so it was just very organic. It was just, this is so natural to us. You and I can just sit here and talk about these topics at length.
And when we come in to record each week, we do. I mean, it almost turns into, I can't say a full day, but I mean, it turns into like a 6-hour day for us because we talk before and then we're like, okay, we got to get to podcasting. And so we do. And then we talk for another maybe hour or two after. It's just, it's really nice. It's neat. It's nice. Comfortable.
Yeah, I agree. I know. And I think about it too. Like, we get so busy. How lucky am I that I get to, I have a scheduled day where I see my mom every week and we get to just sit in a room by ourselves with 2 microphones and a camera.
Yeah.
And we just get to talk about stuff we love to talk about.
Yeah.
It's so fun. And I always feel, as long as our recording days can be, I always feel so recharged and so energized after we leave because I just love getting to spend this time with you.
Oh, thank you. Same here.
It's very fun.
It is.
Yeah.
It really has been very fun.
Yes.
So I don't remember exactly when I asked you if you wanted to do a podcast with me and how long it took for us to actually put it in motion and do it.
I want to say within like a month or two.
Was it that quick? Okay.
I think so.
I think it happened fairly quickly.
Yeah.
As soon as we agreed, I got on, getting some equipment and kind of researching it a little bit more and figuring just, the small details of it out just to get us started.
Right.
We made our topic list. We kind of started making scripts and
just having fun with it.
Yes, it definitely was fun. Is fun. We're not done.
This is just the beginning.
Yeah, it's just episode 2. But I was so nervous.
Right.
To be on camera, to have to speak.
Yeah.
I felt like I wouldn't know anything sitting here talking, to you, trying to relay information.
Yeah.
And so that, the first episode, if anybody watches that, I'm reading stuff off of the little iPad because I was so nervous that I just knew I was going to forget all the things that I wanted to say.
And I just remember those early episodes of me sitting down and just saying, Mom, you're just talking to me. There's no one else. It's just you and me.
But it felt like the whole world was right there. But it didn't take long.
No, not at all. Well, and I wanted to say, for those that are watching our video content of our podcasts on YouTube, you will see set changes. We've only been recording for a year, but it has been a year of tweaking this and changing this and moving this and, completely rearranging and
figuring things out.
Yes.
And it's been a little bit of a messy journey.
Yeah. So that is what today is kind of digging into the nitty gritty of our journey so far, because it's very fun that now we're having to go back and record this episode again.
Yeah.
Now that we have a team helping us put together the episodes and launch the episodes and release them, it's allowing us to focus on the creative side of bringing our messages to life.
Yeah, it's still a lot of work. It's still in the very infancy stage, which is so funny because we had set out that our goal was going to be that we would record 10 to 12 episodes and then we would launch. And that we would put together the podcast to launch ourselves.
Yes.
And
boy, oh boy.
Wow. So much respect for the people that are technically savvy in the podcasting, audio, video, all of that, because that's certainly not. I tried, I think, for a couple days, spent hours, got absolutely nowhere, so frustrated. I was like, nope, all right, that's it. We're going to have to find somebody to do this for us.
Right.
So we just kept recording. And we would have distance between some of our recordings. We just had a lot of things going on.
Yeah. The holidays were lots of rescheduling weekends or pushing recordings or,
Yeah, our weekends were full because we record on Sunday early afternoons. And so, our weekends just seemed to be filled.
Yeah.
That we just didn't have the time to do it. But we were like, that's okay. We really didn't, at the time that we started, did not have a launch date.
Right.
I don't know if we even talked about that at the beginning. We were just like, let's record.
Yeah, at the beginning, I don't think so.
No.
I think initially we were in the mindset of, let's just get this going, settle into this space of talking and recording. And once we hit 10 to 12 episodes, we'll go from there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we did pretty good. Yep. We were making our episodes.
Yeah.
And then we're getting towards the end of the year, and I was like, all right, we're getting, I think we were probably around episode 8. And
yes.
then I was like, it would be really neat to launch on my birthday, which is the last day of the year.
Yeah.
And that was coming up very quick,
Mm-hmm.
and we had done
Nothing.
put nothing together. So that date went by, and it was like, okay, yep, that's not it. And then I think the next launch date was maybe around March.
Yes. Yeah, because we had talked about, again, launching it around my daughter's birthday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Because that's right around the time that we recorded my birth story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that date came and went.
because we still did not have one single episode ready to launch. And then it was very apparent that, okay, it's time. I think we had then were at 10 episodes, and it was time to find somebody. Okay, we had to get serious about this. We are consistently recording.
Mhm.
This is a thing. It's time to get it out there.
Yeah.
And so then we got into the work of finding the perfect person
Mm-hmm.
to join this team, of putting what we had created together to launch.
Yeah. And now it's settling in that, wow, these episodes have gotten to the point where they are starting to release. And it's very exciting.
We're getting very close. Yes. Yeah. Yes. At the time of this recording, we still haven't launched yet, but we do have our launch date.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 1 is just about complete.
Yeah.
With all the fun little things that are going to go with it for social media and YouTube and
Mm-hmm.
all of that. And gosh, how much it takes, one, just to sit down and record a podcast,
Mm-hmm.
but then the back end of it is just
so much more than we ever expected.
So much more.
Mm-hmm.
And the wonderful person that we found to help us put all of this together has really held my hand in step by step by step, and probably a little more work than she was prepared to have from us, but she stuck with us.
Yes.
She's been so patient and is just doing a really great job for us. And every time we connect, I try to tell her, I am so thankful. I'm so thankful. And let's keep working together.
A rock star and hanging in there with us. Yeah. Yes.
It's a big job.
It really is. And when we first met with her too, I mean, she just laid everything out. And it was almost like, oh, it's so hard not to trust you.
Yes. Yeah.
It was just that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you to our team behind the scenes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And to really also put this in a bit of perspective is that, I'm paying to, have this professionally done and put out there. And I'm in the middle of rebranding. And so things, are very small for me
Mm-hmm.
right now with the business, and it's transforming. And so, I'm very limited in the funds
Mm-hmm.
for putting this all together. And so it was just a bit of a jump in. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah.
It's not something that we're going to be able to do on our own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was a commitment.
Yeah, but then it just kind of points to how real and how serious this is for us and for you too. And really, because we are both so passionate about the health and wellness space,
Mm-hmm.
and the space around energy and finding balance, I mean, really is our ultimate goal, which is why we really incorporate that into every single episode. We don't just want to dig up the uncomfiness of our topics, but we do really kind of want to get our hands in the dirt, talk about maybe some uncomfortable things or some difficult things, and obviously, our slogan, bring to light the balance,
Mm-hmm.
and leave you feeling uplifted, leave you feeling with, you can do this. There's hope. Here's
Direction.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And to, bringing our conversations to a community of like-minded people as well that want to share in everything that we are interested in as well.
Yeah. I think that's growing. I think people are becoming more aware of kind of a disconnection that has been out there, I guess. So yeah, I think people are seeking the content that we're wanting to put out there.
I agree. And why would you say the content is so important to us or to the people that we're hoping to reach out to as well?
My goal is to bring people back to their individual person. We outsource so much, blaming people, looking for material happiness, looking for the joy outside of ourselves. And it's something that people will constantly be searching for, because it all starts and ends within us. And so coming back to the individual person, understanding themselves, and that goes with your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health. That's what we are.
Yeah.
And so it's important to bring these topics out there to really get people to understand who they are, what makes them up, and how to find balance in that and start navigating through that to find health and wellness.
Yeah. Within ourselves, which is the key point.
The individual.
Because we have the answers.
Yep. Everybody has their own answers.
And it does just take that time of really sitting with yourself and discovering yourself and deciding and figuring out what the right step is for you. Because you and I do not believe that health or wellness is necessarily cookie cutter for anyone.
Absolutely is not.
It has to be individual to the person. And so, again, you can't necessarily outsource the answers that you're looking for to external things because you have to get curious about yourself.
Yeah. And that's what I'm hoping with each topic, is that it will really leave our audience with things to think about, to research, to reflect on, to journal on, to talk about with somebody else, and just understand that everybody has their own ideas and beliefs, and that's the way it's supposed to be, and it's okay. And we can sit and have discussions and understand that the person we're talking to is an individual, and they can be completely different than I am, and it's absolutely okay and such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Because that's how perspective changes. That's how we grow, we expand.
Yeah. I mean, like you always say, come as you are.
Yes. And let other people come as they are.
Yeah. How would you say we're able to work together? Why did we choose each other to start this journey with?
Yeah, I think, I find such comfort in you and your sister. It's just so natural.
Yeah.
To be able to sit and talk or just have you here. We've always been so close.
Yeah.
And a big part of each other's lives that it just was natural. It was
it was a no-brainer.
It was a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah, the answer that comes to my mind is, well, you're my mom. And like I pointed to earlier, how lucky am I that I get to have scheduled on the calendar. Yes, anyone can schedule on the calendar to go get coffee with their mom once a week, but this is more than that. I mean, we sit down and we talk for
about anything and everything.
Yes, which is why, I mean, and I even see you 2 times throughout the week anyway.
Yeah.
And we always catch ourselves, talking about, everything that we would talk about in these chairs here.
Yeah.
Even though we have this every week that we get to look forward to and we get to do, it doesn't matter. It's just when I see you, we gotta chat about something.
Oh yeah, there's always something. Yes.
And I think that's why, this is what it is, because of our relationship and how close we are.
And those conversations are so fun.
Yes.
And just to be able to bring it in here
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully, engage the audience and that they will have fun.
Yeah. They want you to pay for more.
Oh, technical difficulties.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah. So we're still learning.
Oh, man.
That's all right.
It's okay. Yeah, I know. You come to the house to take the baby for me when I go out to work. And yeah, I mean, we have 5-10 minutes where we get to say, hi, I love you. Bye. See you later. But it can never be that.
No. And most of the time you're like, okay, I got to go.
I got to go,
and then
Mom.
we sit there and we talk even longer. And you're like, yeah, I really got to go. And then we get into something else. And
Mm-hmm. We just can't help it.
No.
We just can't. No, not at all. But our mission together is, for me, it is that connection.
And what's interesting is that this is more so my space,
Mm-hmm.
holistic health, intuitive, energy, kind of the psychic realm.
Yeah.
I mean, you, before doing the podcast together, I mean, you definitely, we've talked about these kinds of things
Mm-hmm.
through a lot of your
Yeah.
life, but this isn't your business side.
Mm-hmm.
And so for you to come in and participate in kind of my business side
Mm-hmm.
of this and the topics, I find really fun
Mm-hmm.
because you add just another layer to what I'm speaking to.
Yeah. I think it is kind of funny to really see the differences between us and how similar we are and interested in the same topics. Yes, but this very much is your space. And it is mine too, because I've just had the opportunity to watch you grow in all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been so interesting to me just watching you expand and learn and grow your knowledge. I love it so much. And so I've certainly, had my own practices in, the energy field or the, manifestation field, those things. And it is something kind of deeply personal to me. I do love it very much. But yeah, getting to see like the real, almost like technical side and the application side to everything that you've learned is so fun.
Yeah.
And I do just love to get to pick your brain and just like get to sit and talk to you and really understand how much you know. But also funny seeing how, yes, you live in the country, you've lived in the country for how long now?
21 years.
21 years.
Mm-hmm.
And as removed as you can be from social media, from, large groups of outside people, as detached as you are from that, and you love being that way.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I, of course, am in a different generation. Technology, social media, platforms, community, all of these things is very, very prevalent to my generation now. We do have two very different perspectives that we bring to each topic that we get to discuss.
Yeah.
And it's fun just bouncing that off of each other. Our
Definitely.
Different experiences, lived experiences, our different, viewpoints and perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, it does just add another layer to what we're doing.
Definitely. You get to bring kind of that outside questions and perspectives in that I might kind of forget about or not think about anymore. So, yeah, you get to kind of just add almost a base layer, but just very, very important.
Yeah.
In a well-rounded conversation.
Right. And I also think too, because of how much you know, and you know so much about so many different aspects of the health and wellness space, and you've learned a lot about the things that speak to you most. So you are here to educate on the things that you find very important, very interesting, very real to you and what you've seen in the world so far. And I love that you want to share that knowledge. But because you know so much, I feel like that getting the opportunity to sit here and talk and almost frame your knowledge into a story that you get to tell almost, helps that knowledge stick and almost like categorizes it in your brain. And because I know for me, when I would take my aesthetics classes, for some reason people always asked me questions. They would always ask like, so does this do this, or is this like, for some reason it's like I've been through this before and I just know I already know what I'm paying for a class to learn in. But I would always take that opportunity as, this is how I'm understanding it. This is how I believe this works. And teaching people alongside myself. And it helped me grasp things in a totally different way.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like this is as well. Really, you're taking in all of this knowledge and then you're applying it and you're explaining it, and it just kind of helps solidify things, I feel like.
It definitely does, and it also helps to understand it even deeper. And anything that I am talking about or suggesting or anything, I'm applying in my life.
Yes.
It's not just something that I've just learned and now I'm saying, oh yes, everybody needs to be doing this. I'm doing it. I'm the guinea pig, and I'm trying to understand what works, what doesn't work, why does it work, or why didn't it work? All the little aspects of it.
Yeah.
And all of these things that I'm learning, which is so interesting, is I'm seeing now how they are now working all together.
Yeah.
And when I first started taking these courses and kind of doing these things that seem so random. Oh, I'm learning herbs. Oh, I'm learning energy. Oh, I'm learning, health coaching, the holistic side of things. But they're coming together very, very nicely. And that's my purpose here, is to be blending these things and figuring out how that's going to help.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So much. I also wanted to chat about, kind of the side of respect that we have for each other as well, bringing that into how we collaborate together. Obviously, again, you're my mom. So there is always that level of love and respect, and, obviously vice versa towards me. But we're always together. I mean, being homeschooled as a kid, you were my teacher. My mom,
I was your everything.
Yes,
your nurse, your principal, your
my therapist. Yes, I mean, you were always such a huge figure in my life growing up because you were always there.
Yeah.
And I never had to question if you were there.
Yeah.
And again, it's just that closeness that helps really propel our collaboration and our drive of working together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we had to figure that out. We definitely had our mother-daughter bumps along the way.
Yeah.
And figuring out the boundaries for each other. But it is so important for me to always keep in mind that you are an adult and you do now have your family, and that I have to respect every aspect of that, your time, your space, all of it.
Yeah.
And so, we had this conversation probably shortly into working together again for the second time, and then going into the podcasting space, that on the weekends is when I tend to be able to sit down, be creative, start, figuring out what the episode's going to look like, and I'll send it to you. Or even what the week is going to look like, and send that to you. That's not so much anymore because you're full into your work. And so us working and collaborating, on website and socials and stuff like that, really isn't a thing anymore. But at the same time, if I send you something on the weekend, I don't expect you to drop what you're doing and respond to me. And there is a lot of levels of respect there for you as an adult and where you are in your life.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And it has to be that way.
Yeah. But I think too, for me, it is also this level of support on my end that I want to provide for you. And I tell my husband this all the time. I want to do this with my mom. I want to do this for my mom. I'm so glad and lucky that I get to be the person that goes on this journey with you because I think we make a great team.
Yeah.
And I think I think we do put ourselves into each of these episodes.
Yeah. And we want it real and raw and messy.
Yes.
And this journey has definitely been a bit messy for us. It's taken a lot longer than we had planned. But we've had the grace with ourselves, with each other, with the project, that things just changed along the way. And we just had to roll with it. And we've just moved right along.
Yeah. And it feels fun that, things are really coming to life now.
Yes.
Yeah. We've settled into ourselves as podcasters in a way. Although we've reached part of a ceiling on this level and we're about to reach the next level, but it's exciting.
Oh, it is. And again, we've said it I think several times. It's just so much fun.
Yeah.
And that's what it should be. I mean, that's what we wanted it to be. And I really wanted this to be very conversational. And so when I was so nervous at the beginning, I think the first probably 4 episodes that we recorded, I had it scripted out and kind of followed along on my script. And it's just not really what I wanted, but it was just what I had to do just to keep my mental focus on what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
But definitely stepping into a different comfort zone of really letting this be conversational.
Yeah. Yeah.
You being host, have your questions just to keep us on track.
Yeah.
Because we can veer off in so many different directions. But yeah, just to keep the flow and keep us on track, on topic.
Yeah.
But other than that, just a conversation.
It is. And I think, the more fun that we have with this, ultimately we want that to be translated to our audience as well. We just want people to come and enjoy our conversations and learn something, question something. Like you said, go talk to someone else about something that you heard in the episode.
Yeah.
And just enjoy, maybe a different perspective on things.
Yes. And really, that's what I hope that this will be. Each episode for everybody is just a change in perspective, to change the thinking. Just get just a little bit of something stirred up in somebody or moving in somebody, inspiration or questions or reflections or whatever it is for that individual. I really hope that they find that with each episode.
Yeah. So we chatted about the nitty gritty, and I think it's time to chat about the balance for today's episode. And really, kind of like we said before, it is just talking about our journeys. We're not preaching to anyone about anything. And 99% of what we are talking about, we're also applying to ourselves or have applied to ourselves in the past.
Yeah.
And we're speaking just from experience, but then also just, that excitement and that love for our topics.
Yeah.
But of course, at the same time, as we're going through each of these discussions, finding our own health and our own meaning to wellness.
Yeah. Yeah. I by no means have everything figured out. I am on my daily journey every day. this is my first go around
Yeah.
with all of this.
Yes.
So, and that is the balance, is just that this is a constant learning experience
Mm-hmm.
of life and the path and what I choose every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's just finding that love, that respect for myself, for those that I come in contact with, that I work with. It's just going with the flow of life.
Mm-hmm. And like you've pointed to recently, and that's your dharma.
Mm-hmm.
Just finding your purpose for today, as you like to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Finding that daily or moment to moment
Mm-hmm.
dharma.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
You also have a little bit, some quotes or a message from Matt Kahn that you like. Did you want to share that today?
Matt Kahn is a very inspirational speaker. And I had brought him up in our first episode 2 recording.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought maybe it would be fitting just to go ahead and bring him up again in our retake.
Yeah.
Because at that time, I had listened to him at a conference.
Mm-hmm.
I think it had been maybe 6 months or so by the time we had recorded episode 2 from when I had saw him on stage speaking. And he's just phenomenal. And I would love to pass along his name and just have people aware of him. If you're needing to find love, feel love, want some inspiration, look up Matt Kahn, Kahn.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got lots of books out there. You can also type him into podcasts. He's on lots of podcasts. Just a wonderful being. And so to get to listen to him speak, you just can't help but to walk away feeling just all this love in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that he says is just one after the other is just, so I've got pages and pages of little notes that I had written down from things that he had said.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to share what I did on that first episode 2 recording. I'm going to share something different that just stuck out to me when I went back to look through some of the notes that I took on what he had said. And so the one that was speaking to me for this re-record, and I don't know if this really has much to do with what we talked about today, but I think that this will really leave our audience with something deep to think about and maybe to talk to other people about. And so he had said that your trauma is your contribution to the world.
Interesting.
It is the personal lens for the world. So to sit with that for a moment and understand that your trauma is your contribution to the world. It is the personal lens for the world. We all can't experience everything. And maybe this does tie into our podcast because this is very individual. And so we have our individual stories to share with people, to shape us, to help shape the world.
Yeah.
That's what drives us to develop organizations, have conversations, bring awareness. Traumas are learning experiences.
Yeah.
And they can be great and small. And that is each individual's contribution to the world.
Wow, I really like that.
Yeah.
Because, everyone wants, everyone sees a dark cloud around trauma, but it is what pushes people to learn and grow and change and innovate.
Hopefully, a lot of people are stuck in it.
Yeah.
And, hopefully that will be part of the goal of our conversations, is to bring awareness and perspective and reflection and all of that to help move people through things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow, I really like that.
Yeah. So I hope people enjoy that and reflect on that until we meet again.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because I think hearing that quote, I think people have that gut reaction of what that trauma is for them. And that first thought that popped into your mind, that's what you need to go dissect.
And that could be the spark
Mhm.
into something beautiful.
Yeah.
Because that trauma is a learning tool.
Yeah. It is communicating something to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, I really like that. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, a fun aspect of each of our episodes is at the beginning of an episode, we pull an oracle card from one of our many decks. We choose a different one every time. And we pull this card, but we don't look at it. We let it just kind of sit with our conversation and kind of, feed into the energy of what we're discussing today. And we like to reveal it at the end of the episode to ourselves and to you, our listeners. And today we pulled from our Plant Ally cards. So it's inspirational support from our flower allies. And today I pulled Valerian. I love Valerian. And it also signifies delight. And this card leaves us with the message to be responsive in the moment. Delight in the simple joys that enchant the senses. Slow down and smell the flowers. Oh, I love that. That is so cute. And the image on the back, labeled delight, it is a woman smelling a large bouquet of flowers.
Oh, nice.
Wow, I really like that. To be responsive in the moment.
Well, and I think that just goes with our, trying to sit here and just have a conversational podcast on a very relevant nitty gritty topic.
Yeah. For us.
And it's delightful.
It is.
We enjoy this time.
Yeah. Delight in the simple joys that enchant the senses. Yeah. Just getting to be creative together.
Yeah. And
Slow
see
down.
where each podcast takes us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And to slow down and smell the flowers.
Nice.
Wow. I really love that. That's a great one.
All right. So slow down, everybody.
Smell the flowers, everybody.
For this week, until next time.
Be well.
And be balanced.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening. This episode is for educational purposes only. The information is not intended to give medical advice or therapy. Please consult with a licensed healthcare provider before making any changes to your health regimen. Also know that you are responsible for your life choices and circumstances. Until next time,
be well
and be balanced. Bye.
Bye.